I have to give an alert here. This is a nerd alert because we're going to have some technical airplane engineering type stuff, starting with this plot here. So this is a plot of the number of airplane wings of this jet trainer fleet that were inspected. And the fleet was grounded, so these can't get any more hours on them, right? And this is the number of wings that were found to be cracked, to have fatigue cracks. So it's two different distributions. And we can calculate the mean life of this small distribution, but that's not the true life of the possible life of the fleet, because if this distribution moved on, if we went on flying, this would overlap there, and this would be much, much more, right? And the way we predict the mean life now of the fleet, if it got on working, is with this plot where we take the logarithm, because we use a distribution called log normal, and we take that distribution. Here's the inspected airplanes that are cracked, and we lay on it what the distribution would be if it fit. When we make sure it fits, we find the parameters that make the distribution fit. Then we can project, okay, somewhere out here, 50% of the fleet will be cracked. And that calculated out to be almost 9,000 hours. So that was that one. Anyway, that was interesting work. And soon after we got finished with the military program, the boss, Bob Held, his name was, he came to me and he said, well, we're working on a new business jet, the first Cessna jet. It was the first Cessna Citation 500 it was called. And he said, and we want you to be in charge of the fatigue and fail-safe certification on that airplane. Well, I was most shocked, because the background I came from, I thought bosses were different, from some kind of different class, which in England they often were, right? And this egalitarian operation here at Cessna was quite a shock to me. It's like, oh, bosses are just ordinary people. They're just like you and I. This was a shock to me. And it was pretty good. We settled into it. And the reason for needing a new approach there was the jet airplanes are often in what we call the Part 25, the same certification, the same FAA certification bracket as the big airliners, and things are a lot more stringent then. You have to do a lot more analysis and a lot more testing to back that up. And one of the things was we had to do wing testing and fuselage pressure testing and landing gear. Well, that was not well known at the time. That was not a widespread thing. This was a new thing in the industry. And I kind of working pretty well on my own from published information, came up with what we call the test spectrum. In other words, how we're going to load it and how often we're going to apply these loads, right? And the target was, I think, 12,000 landings or something. Well, in the test, the nose landing gear broke after a few hundred landings. And this was a serious concern because airplanes were already on the assembly line. The first 7 airplanes had already had these landing gears fitted. So we had to quick do 2 things. One, come up with a better design, right? And then decide, when this fleet would be retrofitted with the new gear. And this was a scramble, but it came out all right, and I settled into the new job rather well. Thank you.